Hey guys, so I don't usually do product reviews, but what with the new Citadel paint range coming out and seeing all the reviews that have been put up, a lot of them are fantastic, really informative, some really balanced opinion there, and really well-informed reviews. But they're not for me. I actually think that GW is just really, really trying to push their luck here, I think. I was at the store last week and the guy was so excited to ram this new paint set down my throat, and it was very hard for me not to roll my eyes, because I don't really think it's much to be proud of. Like, you can get nearly 3 times the amount of paint in a Vallejo pot for a third of the cost, and whether you're going with model color or game color or air color, or model air, like, they're superior paints. Obviously the Reaper paints have some really fantastic HD paints in their range. I think a lot of people made the point that the paint, the number of paints in the new kit has literally been halved if you take into account that the foundation paints have been removed and replaced with all these layer paints. And I just think that it's a bit cheeky that you now need like 4 paints to achieve, a highlight effect, which is what you could do with 1 paint, really. Like, you just add like more white or more yellow to get like a brighter color. And like, it's just, as a kid we used to mix like 3 color paints in school and make all sorts of colorful paintings with lots of different colors, and that same process is still there today. It's not like paint doesn't mix anymore, so it's kind of a shame. I think that the the glazes are cool, but like, you need a lot of them to get coverage if you see by painter's review. But what really sort of irks me is the stuff like the texture paint. Like, I think it's so silly. Like, a tub this big of paint with bits of texture in it. I know that Vallejo do it, but they do it like in something that's like 10 times the size. For, when you break it down, it's a fifth of the price or something like that. But it takes so long to put the paint on, and it's really thick. You're getting it all over the model's feet. Just dip your base in some glue, half glue, half water, some sand or dirt from outside, and you get the very texture that you're looking for instantly. I feel like it's sort of diminishing the hobby aspect of things. It's making it so easy, and it's a shame to see the painting standards drop. Like, the heavy metal standard, I think, is really being encroached upon by these how-to guides. Like, if you look at the box art now, it's fantastic, but if you look at the new how to paint stuff and you look at the tips in White Dwarf now to paint the models, like, they look terrible, and they look really they look tabletop standard. And I think that's like, sure, it's realistic and it's a good approach in the sense that at least you can get it done, but it used to be something to aspire to, like those fantastic paint jobs, and it was really a driving force for me. So I hope that it's not a trend that continues, but it looks like it might be. Someone asked me what I thought about liquid green stuff, and I did pick up a pot out of interest a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I'd just make a quick video about that. It's kind of turned into a paint rant, but this stuff is it's useful. I think that it's really like $5 for a little tub of this goopy stuff. It's kind of crazy, but and if you buy your green stuff from GW, it's also a bit nuts. Like, this is the green stuff I've got left from my last purchase. It's a third of what I had, so imagine that plus another one, and I got that for like $15 off the internet. So the value is really, really apparent when you shop around. This stuff is kind of useful, but not really, and I'll tell you why. Essentially what I think it is it's Tamiya putty with a bit of colouring in it, because it works exactly the same as this. Like, it's a toothpaste density, it's liquidy, like, you have to spread it on, and the whole idea with Tamiya putty is you spread it on and you sand it back, whereas this is marketed as a gap filler. It's when it hardens, its texture is like chalk ice, that stuff you put on ice cream, which is a lot like this white putty is. It has this strange like sort of sheen to it, but it also just crumbles off. Like, it's nothing. So I guess my point is that it's not like green stuff. Like, if I want to fill a gap, this is much more controlled. This is much more like sort of haphazard. You have to spread it on like paint and hope it doesn't get everywhere. And even then, like, if you've got a big gap that has quite a large sort of depth to it, you have to fill it with this stuff, whereas you can just use this stuff to sort of get the surface fixed. The major problem that I have with liquid green stuff is that you can't really do texture with it, and in most cases gap filling requires you to match textures in the model. So like if you're gap filling the seam on a wolf, you need to create the hair. If you're gap filling the seam, like this is only useful if you're gap filling in vehicles, and usually when you're doing gap filling in vehicles, like it'll soak up a lot of it. So why not just roll off a tiny little pinch of green stuff and get your carving tool and just, you know, fit it in there in the gap and then have a go. I did use a bit of it for some cape work, but then again, it's not, you can sand it down, but yeah, I don't know, it's not really doing it for me. So that's my thought on the green stuff. Just go with this. It works much better in my opinion. This is the Tamiya Putty with some green paint in it, as far as I can see. And I don't know if there's a price on this. What does that say? $8.95. Yeah, so this is $5. This tube was $9. So you're getting it about 3 times as much, I think. Maybe twice as much. So maybe it's a similar price. I don't know. But I just thought it was funny that it seemed like it's this rebranded. Gosh, this is a bit of a rant. Anyway, that's all. Go on eBay to get your green stuff. 3 times as much as this. Much better value. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.